What's up, everybody? Today I'm here with Amy Hunt, who I came across recently because I was doing some research on YouTube and a video from your channel showed up. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I always try and keep in mind all the people who are doing content, especially about like working from home, always trying to talk to these people. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm super happy because I have not done a Skype call recently, and I was away from home for like 4 or 5 days. I went to Ometepe, which is it's an island with 2 volcanoes on it. So it was a really cool trip, but I get nervous if I'm not like working and doing stuff to progress.
I know what you feel like. That's what it feels like to be your own boss, right?
Yeah.
Always something in the back of your mind that needs to be done.
So tell us a bit about yourself. I saw that you run a YouTube channel. So I guess a good place to start is why did you start a YouTube channel?
Okay, so never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would be sitting behind or in front of a laptop talking to a screen. What happened was I had a daughter and she had a disease or has a disease. And so I wanted to stop working. This was in 2003. So what I started to do was I needed to make, because I went from my regular income down to 0. So I'm like, anything's going to help. So I started drop shipping. Actually, I started going around the house and finding things and selling them on eBay probably around 2000. So prior, it was kind of like a hobby. But then I thought, man, the only way I can make income now because I'm home with my baby is to figure something out. So I started going because I live near outlets. I started going to the outlets and I started buying stuff off the shelf that had really good sales, and I started selling it on eBay. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm making a few dollars here and there, and I'm like, a few dollars here and there is, paying for anything that I needed that was just a little bit extra. I know it wasn't taking us to like a fantasy world or something, but it was paying the bills and it was getting this extra money. I became successful in doing that in terms of I was selling frequently. And then in my family, somebody passed the word on that I was trying to make some money online, selling on eBay in various ways. And somebody that had a very reputable website in silver contacted me. It was a friend of the family. And every time like somebody Googled silver something, her website came up #1. So she was successful. But if you're successful, like you said, you're always trying to think of the next thing. So back in 2003, she contacted me and said, hey, what do you think about selling my product on eBay and selling it on Amazon? And Amazon at the time was like barely heard of. eBay was actually more popular.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, sure. Like I'm like the well, sure kind of person. I'll try almost, anything that seems relevant to success or moving forward or just a challenge. So I started selling her product on eBay and then on Amazon. And I was like, this is pretty sweet. I mean, I didn't have to go to the store and buy products. And so then what happened is she retired, and then the transition of the store went to somebody else, and I lost that contact. And I had a taste of what wasn't even termed drop shipping. At the time it was like nobody even knew it went on, so there wasn't even a term for it.
Yeah.
So I feel like a pioneer of drop shipping. Later, as I'm doing it, I hear people calling it drop shipping. I'm like, okay, that's cool. What's drop shipping? So I was in desperate search and need of something to replace that. It kept me busy. It gave me something to do, and now it was income. And I came across what I pioneered my YouTube channel on was hunting for cash back. And I found this hunting for cash back, which is called Doobly, but my referral site is called Hunting for Cash Back. My drive to do a YouTube channel was just to get a $5 referral on that Hunting for Cash Back site. And I thought that was pretty cool if I could also not only drop ship, but then get referrals from people just learning how to do drop shipping. And that really snowballed. I mean, it was kind of slow at first. I learned, and then I became intrigued about YouTube, and I can make money doing YouTube. Like, really? That's cool. I know I was super nervous when I started recording and talking to the screen, but that pretty much took off. Like, I couldn't believe it. And then I'm a teacher by trade. I have a master's in education. So I know the process. I know the steps. I know how to present information. I think that really contributes to the success of my channel. Maybe because I have to go back and learn step by step by step and kind of slower as far as break it down into the detail. I think when I do consultations with people, they often say, I like how you go slower. I like how you have the detail and you don't mess around. Like, I'm not a mess around, like give you a whole bunch of fluff around my information. I like to get right to it. So I think that's what contributed to the success of my channel. I have since transitioned from drop shipping into selling on Amazon, because now, like with your own product, because now I do currently own my own product, have my own product, and I'm learning that's brand new for me, but I'm sharing my learning experience with my viewers. So the Amazon thing is new to me, but I've been connected with huge hitters or huge success stories from Amazon that I trust. Like, I filter through a lot of information, like a lot. I almost drive myself nuts trying to find information. Like, there's not enough hours in a day to learn everything that's out there. So you have to filter through, and hopefully I've taken away a lot of that time issue for my subs that are watching these videos, or even people that are finding this organically. I've taken away a lot of video time to consolidate the information that I've found on drop shipping and on selling on Amazon, and how to do both of those successfully. I present stuff only when I've already researched it. I know it might not look like I've researched it, but in order for me to do a video, I've got to read about it. I've got to learn about it. I've got to watch videos. I've got to explore it. So that brings me to today. I have new connections with Amazon, selling, launching your own product, to drop shipping, picking your own products, to auto drop shipping. Like, they'll pick your products for you. So I've got it all in a ball, and I do consultations for those types of things as well. So that's why awesome. I'm here.
So if somebody wants to get a consultation with you, for example, say somebody listening to this right now wants that, how would they go about it?
Usually at the end of my videos, I have a contact information that you can get in contact with me with my email. If you can't get that, I'm working on a website right now that hopefully I'll have public. I mean, it is public, but it's probably not great, because I actually, prior to this video, actually sent some edits to be done actually for consultations. I had to create PayPal buttons and that sort of thing. So I've had this in the past, like I've had a setup and it worked, but I'm just upgrading. And then the other thing they could do is go to my Facebook page, contact whatever they're comfortable with, contact me through that. Facebook and email are probably my primary contact information. Instagram and Twitter, I don't check as much. So, and this channel, like, just comment on one of the comments and I'll get back with you under this video. Like, if you have an interest, I'll get back with you and give you my contact information, whatever they need. So I offer the shortest ones. I offer 15 minutes, and they can take advantage of that just to get a taste of what it would be like, and then upgrade it from there.
Cool. That's awesome. And so if any of you guys are interested, I'll also put copies of the links to contact Amy in the description of this YouTube video. So it's interesting that you bring up being a teacher and making YouTube videos, because like for me personally, like the act of making videos and teaching other people is how I learn things. So it's like almost like, yeah, I'm kind of teaching other people, but at the same time, and in order to make really good video, you have to really learn something like kind of inside out, you know? And it's
You're absolutely right. Actually, one of the key things I learned and I implemented when I was in the classroom is when you teach someone, if they can teach what you're trying to teach, they're actually going to learn it at a deeper level. So when I do my videos, I try to do step by step by step. And you're right. And one of the things I actually started doing lately is taking a software piece and going from the beginning and letting them see with me so they can see what it's like to start, not just say, oh, go sign in and go to da 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 da. So I'm like, okay, you're going to type this in, and then you're going to put your email in, like very step by step and hopefully clear. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You've learned that instinctually, that you are learned by doing. Like, that's one of your learning traits then, is you're a doer.
Mm-hmm.
And some people learn by seeing, and some people learn by hearing. So, you know, or not just one, but sometimes they'll shift towards one or the other.
People have stronger learning habits and weaker learning habits depending on their person. We can all learn in any way, but we might not be so great at it.
That's right. So I guess, can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so how did you get into what you're doing with online, with YouTube, with whatever money generation that you're doing?
So yeah, it's a bit of a story. But I used to be really, really sick. I struggled a lot with chronic fatigue. And I had a job that I used to really, really love. It was really challenging. I was working at this small business, and it was a company called Tailored Living. So we would like make closets for really wealthy people. It was funny because I lived in like a little room in a Craigslist house, and then I'd go to work and go into like mansions of football players and just be like, what? It's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
But it got to a point where I was struggling to be able to do my job. I was on amphetamines for like ADHD or ADD. I was on Vyvanse, and I was starting to like fall asleep like 2 hours into my shifts, 3 hours. It was really hard for me to pay attention to anything. I was having a lot of physical fatigue and this kind of thing. So I had to quit that job. And at the time, I thought that I would be sick for the rest of my life. So I had to think, okay, what can I do to be able to work from home? And so I started selling physically on eBay, and I also got a job at Starbucks because of the flexibility that Starbucks offers. Because they are like known for, if you need more work, you can get more work. If you need less work, you can get less work. They offer a very flexible work schedule because it's designed for people to be at Starbucks and also traditionally in school. So like, you don't really even need to communicate that much. You don't need to ask if it's okay for you to enroll in school. You enroll in school, and then you tell your boss what your hours are, and they change your schedule to accommodate that. That's kind of the par for Starbucks, right? So I worked there for 4 years before I was able to actually leave my job and be a fully self-employed person. And I'm still pretty new into that lifestyle. It's only been a bit more than a year, like a year and a half since I left, essentially. And
well, you're where a lot of people wish they could be.
Yeah, that's
so consider that success.
Yeah, but it's, you know how it is, like, it's all based on where you've come from. So while there are people who would perceive that about me, I'm much more aware of all the things that I'm not currently doing and all of my weaknesses and all the things I need to improve on. So it's very easy for me to overlook the fact that I have passive income and I can do whatever I want. Like, I still get stressed about money and I worry about things, and, you know, it ends up being fine. But the beginning path was actually pretty similar. So I started selling physically on eBay, and people were... I had this relationship with this guy who did Storage Wars stuff. So he would buy storage lots on auction, and then he would just give me stuff from this. I would sell it and then give him half of the profit from the sale. So I got free inventory. Like, it was awesome. And I was doing this for a while, and it was fun, but at the same time, like, doing the research for these products, it would be everything from like old dental equipment to like lasers for like from MIT to like to Pokemon cards. Like, there was nothing in common with all these items, and it was really time consuming doing the research and testing everything to make sure it was working, especially because it was old computer parts and didn't always have the ability to test them, dealt with all those problems.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I didn't mention that, but those are the details that, you know, I didn't think about actually. But yeah, I remember those times, but that's what makes this software stuff really good.
Yeah. And then a friend of mine sent me a link because he heard I was doing stuff on eBay, and he sent me a link to a course on Udemy, and the title was Work on eBay with Zero Inventory. And I was like, okay, cool. And I took that, and that's when I first learned about drop shipping. This is David Vu's drop shipping course, which is one of the most, if you look at number of students, it's one of the most prolific drop shipping courses, because there's obviously there's courses that have earned a lot more money. There's better courses. There's much more thorough courses as well. But when it comes to courses that educated a huge number of people about drop shipping, David Vu's is one of the bigger ones, right?
Okay.
And so then I got really into that and was drop shipping. I switched completely into drop shipping for my eBay store. I stopped selling things physically almost entirely. And then I did that for like 2 years, and I got up to having an enterprise store with like 100,000 items, and I was completely in over my head. And I ended up getting banned on eBay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
of what?
I had so many items, and a couple of them were owned by companies who abused the Vero profile system, specifically a company called GK Hair. This company has products. They're called Global Keratin products, and they're all like beauty products. It's owned by a bigger company called Van Taboli. And
Can you briefly talk about Vero? Because I actually just recorded this morning and briefly said something about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So Vero is eBay's kind of policing system to make sure that like counterfeit products aren't on their platform, that if you're using people's images or stealing their titles, this kind of thing. Vero is eBay's way of defending its platform and getting these items off of their platform. Unfortunately, it's fairly easy to abuse the Vero program. So in my case, I had these items for sale from Walmart, and they were real items. They were not fake. They were actually items from the Van Taboli company who created them. But Van Taboli sees this, doesn't know I'm buying them from Walmart, and thinks that I'm counterfeiting their product because they don't have a relationship with me, right? So they tell eBay that I'm counterfeiting it, and eBay provides no way to defend yourself in this situation, short of getting a lawyer involved or being able to contact the party who made the claim against you. And in this case, there's a study you can look at with the have you read this? There's a study that was published in like 2004 about Vero.
No.
I'll send a link to you.
Okay.
But it's super interesting. It was done by this this graduate student for their master's program. And one of the parts of the study, they look at the Vero profiles on eBay, and they look at the response rates. So these are all people who have profiles saying, okay, you shouldn't use our product, whatever. And so he sent an email out to all of these people, and the response rate was like 18% or something like this. So less than 2 out of every 5 people, less than 1 out of every 5 people, actually responded to these emails. And this is relevant because when a Vero case is opened against you through eBay, your only means of defending yourself, if it's trademark, copyright is different, but if it's trademark violation like counterfeiting, then your only means of defending yourself is communicating with the Vero account holder. So you have to communicate with someone who has a 20% chance of not even responding in the first place. And when it's frustrating, because you'll try and talk to eBay, and then
so
they're
just
like,
avoid
you got to talk to them. And you're like, all right, I sent them an email like 2 months ago, and they haven't responded. And eBay's like, well, we can send them an email to tell them to respond to you. And that's essentially all they can do. But I ended up getting, there was a product that had shipment to Europe, and it was Neurobian. And Neurobian is trademarked by one company in the United States and another company in Europe. So by enabling shipment to Europe, as far as the European company was concerned, I was counterfeiting the European product by selling the American product. And that was the nail in the coffin that got me permanently banned on eBay. So
so you probably learned way more about Vero than you ever wanted to.
Oh, yeah. And with that many items, it was inevitable. Like, I wasn't doing product research or anything. I was just figuring like, okay, if I can post items and produce sales and it's profitable, then I can just scale it. I just kept getting the store bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I learned a lot through that process. But it was definitely really stressful.
There's the other learning curve. Like you said, you learn by doing, you also learn by failing. How many times do you feel like you failed? Because I was just talking to somebody I was doing a consultation with this morning. Like 1% of out of 100 that watch our videos are going to actually implement. And then from that 1%, maybe some of them will fail and quit, but it doesn't have to be that way. What was your experience in that failure? Like to encourage the people that are watching this video, like they think, well, I want to do it, but I don't know that I can do it. And they sit in the car with the engine started, but they never put the car in drive. Like,
yeah.
What advice do you have there?
Failure's a bit tricky because failure is not a real thing. It's just a perception that people have about others. So really, as long as you're always learning and you're always improving and you don't give up on yourself, even if you failed in the moment or you failed to accomplish a certain thing that you were trying to accomplish, as long as you keep learning and you keep improving, you are successful. Failure is just something that other people can think about you, but it's not real. It's like, if you are failing, that means you're trying. And you have to fail in order to really progress. And you have to be able to just be willing to try something and not worry about the fact that you probably will fail. I mean, we're all going to die at some point. We're going to fail, We're going to fail to be alive. It's part of life.
There's some huge success stories that I think people are afraid to fail, so they don't start. And I mean, I can think of 3 right now: Michael Jordan, Walt Disney, and the Walmart, the guy from Arkansas, the Walmart guy. What's his name? But anyway, they all failed at some point. But what I feel like, people that succeed, they're persistent. Like they don't accept failure. In the perception of what others perceive as them failing. They just continue to learn and go, like you just said. So I'm glad to hear that from you. I just had that conversation this morning on a consultation, like, keep going, like trying to encourage, you just got to keep at it.
Yeah. It's almost like ignoring yourself, any thoughts that are doubtful, or nervous. You just kind of have to learn to just do it anyway. Because I mean, there's a lot of things in my life that like I was freaking out about, or like not really knowing what would happen. And if I hadn't had done those things, like I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now. And like, there's a lot I need to work on and improve. Like, for example, like one of the main ways I make money right now is from a drop shipping course that I made like a year ago. And I don't drop ship anymore, and I also don't want to be known as just a drop shipper. I want to be known as me and do a lot of other things. And like that, it's complicated. And when it comes to YouTube, really, you just have to keep making content and keep working with people. And it's the same with a lot of things in life. Like, it's not about being perfect. It's not about knowing everything. Like, even if you want to get to that point, the only way to get to that point is to just keep trying over and over and over and over and over and over again.
I agree. It's the persistence, and if you get knocked down, everybody gets knocked down. You just got to get back up and go.
Yeah.
That's great. That was my next question. What do you do now to create that residual income? Since you said you were banned from eBay, I guess you have a drop shipping course. Can we share that link in the description of my video?
Yeah, of course. So after I got banned, I do want to say that the drop shipping course that I made isn't so much. It's not like a guide on how to exactly to set up a dropshipping store. It's more of an overview of dropshipping as an industry, and it talks a lot about the different strategies and softwares that people use. It's designed to be kind of like a map, because when I started, it was really hard for me to find information about dropshipping, and every time I did, the people would be like, okay, this is the best tool and this is the only thing that works. And they were so narrow-minded. And I kept finding that, okay, that just means they're in that community that uses that tool. But I know there's this other community that uses another tool, and they say the exact same thing. And so for me, the course, I thought about, okay, what would I have liked to have learned in the beginning? And I would have just wanted much, much more information about everything so that I can pick what I want to focus on. Kind of like a map, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, because that's how my YouTube channels run. I just give them a plate, or more like a smorgasbord, and give them a plate to say, here, pick what you want. But this is what's out there. That's what I like to do. Exactly. But it's also very time consuming for me, because like I said, I'd take hours and consolidate it into hopefully a 2 to 3 minute video.
And it's tricky too, because videos aren't just about providing information. It's also about your tone and encouragement. And so like for my channel, a lot of my most popular videos are between like 10 and 30 minutes. And like it's funny because the average view duration is like 5 minutes. So nobody watches those whole videos. Yet there's something about having that much information packed into one video. It really kind of helps people develop a connection with you, which leads to them subscribing, right?
Right, I understand. The realness. I try to be really real. I mean, I have no reason not to be. But I guess I'm out of questions for now. I don't know if you have any more questions for me.
No, I think you mentioned that you have to pick your kids up. And I heard your phone just buzz, so it's probably a good time for us to leave.
Yeah, I got to get them soon. And it's funny because my son in particular is really interested in all this online stuff. So I actually got him some books to read to get him started. Little does he know what they are. He's just like, oh yeah, I'll read them. But well, it was good talking to you, Jack, and I guess my subscribers, if you're interested in what Jack's YouTube channel is, I'll put it in my description as well. So I guess that'll be it for today then. And what time is it there in Nicaragua?
So it's 12:48. It's actually only an hour behind.
Behind us. Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool. All right. Well, I guess until next time.
Yeah, sounds good. It'd be great to do a video again in the future. See you guys.
That sounds great. All right. See you. Nice meeting your channel.
Yeah, you as well.